Hello. Welcome back to the Fangooner podcast in Vancouver here in Canada. I'm your host, Major Lee, and today we are going to talk about, the Brighton's game that happened yesterday, and I'm sorry that there was no upload about the podcast yesterday because, again, New Year's Eve. I got my own time. Got some stuff going on yesterday. But you know what? First of all, I do want to say Happy New Year to every single one of you out there, all the listeners out there in this world, no matter where you guys are from. Just want to say Happy New Year to you guys. Good health, great success going to bring to you guys in 2023. And first of all, and second of all, I do want to say thanks to pretty much all the listeners out there for supporting this channel for the past 5 years. I said before, I didn't quite consistently post it on this channel until like 2-3 years ago, I think. But right now, with this whole segment of the podcast about Arsenal, is something new. I'm trying to do that very consistently. I think for every games that Arsenal have played so far this season, I have been up to date. And I would like to continue with that. My resolution. Let's talk about resolution. Everybody tends to talk about their resolution every year. I remember my resolution 2 years ago was to read more, but turns out last year, you guys can say in 2021, I read 8 books in total, something that I'd never done before. And last year, I didn't really quite set a resolution for myself, but certainly trying to go to the gym more, or just exercise in general. And this year, you know what? Let's set a resolution which is pretty much based around the channel. Hopefully, I would say for the podcast, I hope it is going to be a successful project in the next few months. Hopefully, again, I haven't quite established everything yet in terms of the podcast. Again, I've been trying to upload this into my gaming channel because the channel that you guys are listening, it's pretty much from a gaming channel, but just kind of diverges into a Arsenal related podcast. Soon enough, I don't know when, but soon enough it is going to be on another YouTube channel, or it might be on another podcasting platform, whether if it's Acast, whether if it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatsoever. Hopefully, I could achieve that by the end of the year. That's my goal right there. So, let's get into the game right here. Brighton 2, Arsenal 4. It was a roller coaster of emotions throughout the whole game. I don't know what to say, to be honest, because I know going to this game, it was going to be tough anyway. Arsenal, for the past 10 meetings with Brighton, we only managed to 1-2. The last time I remember Arsenal beat Brighton was I think it was 2020-2021 season with the only winner. He scores in the second half, I believe. So that was the game that I remember that they beat Brighton. But other than that, we always had a nightmare result against them because Brighton are a very, very good team. I think since they have been promoted, they have been consistently solid in the mid-table. But again, I certainly do see a future around that team. They have McAllister, they have Caicedo. Before they have Mwebu as well. Unfortunately, with his heart condition, he could no longer be a professional football player. But right now, I think recently I heard news where he was rehired as academy coach, which is again a great touch by Brighton in general. But I think this team is full of potential. I know, of course, I'm doing a Brighton career mode, which is again still ongoing. I'm not saying that I put an end to it. I'm still doing the Brighton career mode. And of course, things have changed since I took charge of the game. But we're not talking about the FIFA 23 career mode. We're talking about the game in general. And of course, starting 11 has been solid. It is going to be the same. I know Jesus is gone. And again, Nketiah came on for Jesus, which is, again, a pretty straightforward substitution. But that's pretty much what Eddie Rowe is within the team. Is pretty much the guy behind Jesus, or the second striker, the second choice striker that we have in the team. And at the same time, we do have Zinchenko back in the lineup again. Having Zinchenko back in the lineup make things so much, more smoother in terms, in the middle, the way how technical he is on the ball and how calm he is on the ball as well. Just kind of, allowing that extra midfielder in the middle at the same time, giving us an extra attacker out front, which is, again, Granit Xhaka playing as the number 8 role. But the inverted left back role is so important with the way how Arsenal has been playing throughout the whole season, giving more options, especially up front. And Zinchenko, honestly, I think he had a solid game. 65 seconds in, and just like that, boom, we scored the first goal. It was very simple, to be honest. Odegaard was dribbling pretty much down the middle. Lamptey got the ball, trying to dribble it out from the defense. Partey, again, solid game for him. Just kind of shows why Arsenal needed him in the last season, why he shouldn't be injured in any cause. We just can't have another few games where we don't have Partey, because again, he is pretty much the kind of a core in the team. Actually, pretty much everybody's a core within the team. But again, if you kind of lose one core to another, that creates a potential big problem. But that goal, that's how it started. Thomas Partey with a great tackle to Zinchenko, finds Martinelli, a scuff shot. I think it hits. Who did it hit? I think it hit somebody, and then bounce it off from Luis Dunk and to Bukayo Saka. Great finish right there. Just very calm right in front of the goal. Didn't really blast or anything. Just kind of placed that behind goalkeeper. Sanchez was kind of out of position at one point. So great goal right there. And momentum started to build. And later on, we score the second goal from a corner kick. Again, Billy Gilmore didn't head that one out cleanly. Falls pretty much right down the middle, inside the box. Martin Odegaard, I thought he scuffed it, but I'm sure he meant to kind of take a shot off the ground. Actually, it bounces, perfectly to the right side of the goal. Roberto Sanchez didn't really move at all. Just like that, 2-0, and I told myself, wow, like, it shows why we are one of the best teams so far in the Premier League and one of the best teams in Europe. It's the fact that there were moments before today's game, or even game against Brighton last year, where I would have thought we're gonna lose, we're gonna drop points, but this one is different playing against Brighton, great team as well. But the fact that coming into this game, it gave me a much reassurance in terms of how the team have been performing, especially away from home. Away from home this season, of course, not as good as the home game. Of course, losing to United and also drawing against Southampton in general. But Brighton, Amex Stadium, it is going to be a tough battle in the end. But having that 2-goal lead, it's such a very important part of the game going into the halftime. And after scoring those 2 goals, Brighton had some of the bright moment. But we gotta talk about Mitoma in just 1 second. And later on, after the second half, no changes were made between two teams. And 47 minutes in, Eddie Nketiah on the score sheet once again. 2 starts for him, scoring 2 goals. It shows, and it creates kind of a dilemma within the team, because Jesus has been so influential, but for the past 11 games, he has yet to score a goal. But when Nketiah came on, of course, he is not going to be on the ball. He is not going to be as influential as Jesus, but his, poacher instinct, kind of fox in the box instinct is just, there for him. Again, great finish as well. Just kind of a very clever finish, knowing that Luis Dunk wasn't going for the rebound, and I'm sure there was a little bit of a miscommunication between Sanchez and Luis Dunk, which left Nketiah, scores an open net. 3-0, and I thought, you know what? This game was pretty much set going into 60 minutes and still 30 minutes to play. We thought having a 3-goal lead is certainly enough. Plus, we are playing Newcastle in the next, I think in 2 days. So it's about time to kind of rest Zinchenko, of course, who came back from a calf injury, and rest Ben White as well. Again, he put in a very nice shift in the end, putting Tomiyasu against Mitoma. And something wasn't right, pretty much, I felt like, you know what, the dynamics within the team just kind of went away. Wasn't feeling the same. I'm not trying to like, you know, I'm not trying to like criticize Tomiyasu, but I don't think he was that sharp yesterday, which is fine. Again, having a 3-goal lead, having Tomiyasu there as well, of course. The back start to switch off a little bit, and that's how we conceded the first goal. Mitoma, a very influential player. When I look back into my career mode, I felt kind of stupid selling him already. Pretty much the team that we have right now is completely different than the real life Brighton squad. But Mitoma, great finish right there. 3-1, they got one back, and I thought we still have approximately 27 minutes to play. It should be fine. But then later on, Martin Odegaard, he has been phenomenal for the past 2 games. Everybody thought, you know what, the fact that he is not going to the World Cup, the fact that, you know, there's no club football whatsoever except the friendlies, it's going to affect Arsenal. It's going to affect the individuals within the Arsenal squad, but certainly did not affect Martin Odegaard. What a great pass right there. Just kind of out of nowhere, to be honest. I thought Xhaka was on the left-hand side. We just kind of, you know, slow things down a little bit, but boom. Martin Odegaard, just one pass, you know, curves it to Martinelli, create the right path for him, grab the ball, and finish on his own. Of course, I thought he was going to sweat it to Bukayo Saka, but you know what? He needs a goal as well, which makes our front three score 1 goal each for the last 2 games, which is, again, this is something I will talk about later, but 4-1 is a score, and I thought, okay, you know what, right now we got our 3-goal lead back, and everything will be fine. And later on, William Saliba made a huge mistake at the back, kind of didn't quite get the play right. And allowing, I believe it was, I forgot his name, was it Ferguson, I think? Ferguson scoring his first ever Premier League goal. A very, very, very hard-working goal in general. Never give up, putting a lot of pressure on Saliba, causing him to make a mistake. And Ramsdale could have done a little bit better, just a little bit better, but again, he is not really the one to be blamed at. But Saliba has had a very rusty game. You guys can see the fact that he went to the World Cup, played pretty much like the second half against Tunisia. That's all the outings that he had. And at the same time, I'm not going to blame him. Like, think about it. The fact that he had been amazing throughout the whole campaign. 16 games played, and he barely made a mistake. Maybe he made a few mistakes, but the fact that he had been so amazing this season, and he is only 21-year-old, there is only room. For him to grow at this point. But you guys can see he is still kind of have a hangover from the World Cup, but I'm sure he is going to pick it back because, again, when you're young, you made a mistake. It's very easy for you to, adapt and learn once again. But later on, things are just kind of getting very shaky in the end. Putting Rob Holding on for Odegaard in the 85th minutes. 3 minutes in, 3 minutes after Mitoma scored, but it was ruled offside, just a slight offside. I mean, honestly, if it was not, not having VAR, I would have thought it was a goal. And the fact that it was a very tight call in the end, I kind of felt bad for Brighton because I felt like they could have shined in the last moment of the game, including injury time. But thank God the goal was ruled out. Then I knew that we might, we were getting our victory. And just like that, 4-2 wasn't a very lovely game, but it was very lovely in the first 47 minutes. but then kind of have our Brighton had the moment as well. Of course, they're very well, a well shaped team as well. The fact that I think Roberto Di Zerba, I think that's the coach name or the manager's name. The fact that taking over Graham Potter's, his initial projects and kind of crafted, nicely still, and just like that, 4-2, and we are. What makes it even sweet and happy? Okay, New Year's Eve, of course, everybody is very excited about that. And also the fact that Spurs, like today, Spurs lost, Chelsea drew, United won. Not sure about that one. City drew the game. Newcastle drew the game as well. So pretty much our main rivals were drop point. They dropped points this weekend, which makes Arsenal have a 7-point clear, and it's just very sweet at this moment, just kind of giving us the great momentum right now. But the next 3 games in the league game are going to be very tough for Arsenal. Not just the next 3 games, but potentially the next 8 games. Playing against Newcastle at home on Tuesday, and Spurs next week, and then United the week after. And I thought, okay, you know what? Let's try to get at least 6 or 7 points, because at this point it's really hard to. I don't think Arsenal are going to manage to win all 3 games, but of course I hope they prove me wrong. But going into the home game against Newcastle United, we might have a chance, but Newcastle have been in fine form so far. Spurs away, it's always tough to battle. Of course, we didn't really have a good record against them away from home. I don't think we had a win in the Tottenham Stadium so far. And of course, United, again, another great team. Nurture under Eric Ten Hag. Things seems to turn around within United. But at home, I still think Arsenal could win. If not, it might be a draw. But it is going to be a tough battle. And there's one thing I do want to talk about is the January transfer window. Jesus is gone, is out for 2-3 months, and everybody was kind of putting a lot of pressure on Eddie. And I think Eddie has been fantastic so far after he, substitute for Jesus. And I think he had been doing, an amazing job so far. But if he want to establish himself within the team, not saying the number 1 striker, but within the team, the next 3 games are going to be very crucial for him. We certainly needed him to score goals. That's his job. That's why Arsenal gave him 100k pounds per week, and it's just to ask him to score goals. And that's pretty much it, guys. It's a very good win. I'm not saying a very, very good win, but certainly, because what makes the game, or what makes this win very, very good, was pretty much all our rivals drop points. So there you go, guys. Hope you guys enjoy this podcast. If you guys like it, make sure to drop a like button and subscribe to my channel.